Shalom, Ka'ala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshai, Ba'Shem Kadash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, through the house of David, reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the floods in Europe, and namely how they're being visited upon the men of Teman. We would refer today as the Germans, and how this is all biblical. But let's go and read this first. This is Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshai, of hosts, with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. So you see, the Lord, when He comes down, He brings the forces of nature against people. Okay, all these things here: thunder, earthquakes, great noise, storms, and tempests. This is what actually hit Europe, which caused all those floods, and the flame of devouring fire. Right? This is what's hitting right now, California. Right? But this shows you that the Lord, His weaponry, His tools to put judgment upon the world are also what we refer to as natural disasters. Right? Now, if you've been watching the news, you've seen all the flooding and all the crazy things that have been going on over in Europe, right? Namely, especially what's happened over in Germany and Belgium, right? Just so that way you can understand where Germany and Belgium is, when you look at this map, all these red parts here is where it's all been flooding, okay? Now, when you look at all those pictures that have been coming out of the massive flooding and sweeping away of land, it's basically happened in this region here in Germany, right? Dusseldorf, around that area, around the Rhine River. Now, this here is ultimately a judgment of the Lord, because you see, the people who dwell in the land of Germany today, these would be the people who are biblically known as the Temanites, the men of Teman, right? Considered one of the smartest amongst the tribes of Edom, right? This is why when you look at the higher elites in our society, especially amongst the Edomites, and when I say Edomites, I'm talking about the Caucasian race, you'll see that it's the Germans or Temanites who are always up there in the higher echelon, along with Amalek, the so-called Jews, right? When you look, for example, Trump, even though he portrays himself as an idiot, he's a German. You had the whole Nazi regime, right? You had the Wernher von Braun, the NASA scientist who was a Nazi. You have a lot of people who like I said, who run these economies and run these multinational businesses, who are in fact so-called German people, right? Temanites. And the reason is because, again, their lot as a tribe was the lot of intelligence for the most part, right? They are some of the smarter Edomites that you could deal with, basically, right? To them was given the blessing of all their skills that they have today. Right? This is why they talk about German craftsmanship and all that type of stuff. This is why Germany, out of all the European or the EU nations, they're not the ones suffering economically, right? I'm sure there's other underhanded, corrupt reasons why Germany has been left out of the judgment of Esau's judgment, right? But for the most part, it's because these are a special type of Edomites, right? And the Lord, like He said, man, He's going to visit these Temanites, right, in the time of His judgment, when He's starting to visit the earth. This is 2nd Ezra 9:2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he had made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, there thou shalt thou then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. And like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Right? And that's what's happening, man. The end is starting to manifest upon the earth. And in doing so, you're going to start seeing a lot of these natural disasters, right? We're already seeing the uproars of the people. Now what's going to happen is the Lord is going to start to shake up the world, right? You're already seeing the fires like you're always seeing here in California, but this year it's actually even worse because now we have even a worse drought than we did last year, right? You're seeing these unprecedented floods in Germany, Japan, right? You're seeing earthquakes and volcanoes, erupting all over the world, Philippines, and just to name a couple of places, right? Now let's go and read this article just so we can have a better understanding of what's going on over there with the men of Teman, these Edomites. It says striking photos show aftermath of Europe's devastating floods. It says at least 125 people have died and 13,000 unaccounted for after devastating floods ripped through Western Germany and Belgium. Rescuers are frantically searching flooded towns in Rhineland, Palatinate, and southwest German states bordered by France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and North Rhine-Westphalia, a Western German state. Right? And like I said, all the red indicates all the places that are being flooded right now, man. You see, human society tends to build on the edges of the flood or edges of the rivers and oceans, which is why when flood comes in, that's one of the more devastating things humans can go through because it destroys their habitat. Continuing, thousands of people are homeless, and the German army has deployed 900 soldiers to assist rescuers and the cleanup effort. The photographs below show the extent of the damage. Some meteorologists have said the weather event was considered a 100-year rainstorm. Now, what is a 100-year rainstorm? Right? It's basically something that happens once in a great while. What is a 100-year rainstorm? A 100-year rainstorm refers to rainfall totals that have 1% probability of occurring at that location in that year. In other words, there is a 1 in 100 or 1% chance that a storm will reach this intensity in any given year. Likewise, a 50-year rainfall event has a 1 in 50 and 2% chance of occurring in that year. So you see, what's happened here is almost an improbability that this would have happened, right? So for the most part, this is God. What is it called? What do people say? This was an act of God. This here was an act of God that these people got destroyed to this fashion. No? Rescuers walked the streets of a shopping district in Bad Neuenahr-an-Walach, Germany. Many of the shops have been devastated by the flooding. Flooding in part of the Blessen district in Istria, Germany, wiped out homes, streets, and infrastructure. Man, check this out, man. See, that's the sewer line right there, man. Look at all this devastation. This used to be somebody's house, man. This was somebody's livelihood, man. Everything they worked for is right here. It's in the gutter now, man. The Lord is very, very harsh with his judgments, man. And these Temanites, man, they probably thought this was all good, right? Here's what remains of a neighborhood in Schultz. Look at that, man. All this debris in their neighborhood. Right? And those houses more likely got uprooted off of their foundations, man. It says, Reuters reports 114,000 households in Western Germany are without power Friday night. The Ahr River overflowed and decimated the town of Insel, Germany. Damn, look at that. These are destroyed, man. These houses, like even the houses back here, man, that you think haven't been touched, they've been flooded, right? And all that flood water is full of chemicals, and it's destroyed the the foundations likely, and if anything, it's going to create a mold-like environment. So this whole neighborhood's basically been wiped out. These people will not be living here, right? There may be a few that may stay, that may fix up their houses, but look, the road and the infrastructure between this side and this side of the town are destroyed, man. Right? Their cars, which are made for roads, not off-roading, more likely, because over in Europe they don't really have trucks like that, man. Off-roading trucks, right? They're not gonna be able to go across these streets, man. So this city is done for, like the scripture said, man. They were decimated, right? Cars pile up in one German town after intense flooding. So look at this, man. These are destroyed. These cars are totaled, right? These cars will not be driven again unless they're salvaged and repaired, torn down, and sold on the aftermarket, right? But for the most part, these owners are no longer going to use these cars anymore, man. This is all junk, right? Just shiny junk. And look at this. There's a neighborhood. This is a picture of that sewer system that's shown up here. This shows you how much the water has eroded away the ground covering, man. It's like a little chasm now, man. See, so the Lord did a mighty form of judgment on this town, man. It basically opened up a chasm in their city, right, in the middle of their city, and basically almost all their belongings fell into it, man. Right? So when you hear stories, like the story of Korah, when the ground opened up underneath them and all their possessions fell into it, it's shit like this is what happened, man. You see, these are biblical events. Look at this. Images of North Rhine-Westphalia. Look at this, man. Destroyed houses. Look at a massive sinkhole has opened up in the western Germany after a series of deadly floods caused severe damage across the region. Look at that. Let's watch this. So you see, all this used to be just ground level land. It looked like fields. You see the city here. Now look how big of a chasm has opened up now. Look, and here's walk paths, and right here, these are people walking on this walk path, on this bike path. That thing is destroyed, man. You're not gonna bring loads of dirt on trucks to fill this up, man. This place has now been altered for the most part, man. Will not go back to normal. The situation is still ongoing, and deaths may rise into the weekend. There is no telling what damage costs are at the moment, nor economic impact. And right, see, and the thing is, remember like I said, Germany had managed, now up until now, to avoid all the economic issues that the EU was going through during the whole, Brexit situation, everything, right? They were good. They were actually lending to other countries, right? But now with this, man, this is definitely going to be a big, devastating blow to their, to their economy, right? And we're about to see how the Lord, not only can He affect your physical, environment, but He's also going to affect your economic environment, man, by bringing down these judgments. Continuing, at least 13,000 or 1,300 people are still unaccounted for Friday after flash floods in western Germany and Belgium left more than 100 dead and several towns devastated. Rescue efforts continue for the second day as the true extent of this tragedy is only being revealed as floodwaters recede. According to CNN, 103 people have died in Germany following torrential rainfall that swept through the county on Wednesday and Thursday. So far, authorities have said that 1,300 people are missing, and the Europe-wide death toll is 117 people. The death toll in Reinhard Palatinate, a southwest German state bordered by France, Belgium, and Luxembourg, has soared to at least 60. The state premier, Malu Dreyer, said Friday that there was bad news every hour as rescue efforts continue to find more bodies. We have 60 dead to mourn at the moment, and it is to be feared that the number will rise even further, she told reporters, adding, "We have not yet reached the stage where we can say that situation is easy." Right? So it's only going to get worse, man. And that's for the most part. I'm just going to leave it at that. But man, just look at this devastation that the Lord has brought upon these Edomites, man. And yes, it appears sad, man, and you may feel bad for these people. But understand, man, these are the enemies of you Israelites, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians. These are your enemies. And the Lord is now bringing judgment upon them. Because again, even though, they may not have done anything to you in this life, they are part of this nation that has brought devastation to our nation, to us as Negro, Latinos, Native Indians. These are the people who the Lord has deemed us our enemy because of their actions, what they've done. Right? And this is only the beginning, because it's going to only continue to get worse. Right? And it's going to crescendo into this when it says, "And thy mighty," this is Obadiah 1:9, "and thy mighty men, O Teman," right? Teman being the Germans, "shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter." Right? And you see that? Because the mount of Esau, meaning the entire Caucasian race, will be cut off by slaughter eventually. Right? This will eventually come through. Right? Because you're going to see, the world will be plunged into World War III. Okay? And the Western powers are going to lose this war. Okay? And that is a biblical prophecy, right? And with those Western powers are going to fall the Caucasian race, and the majority of them are going to be turned into dust, right? And those who survive, those who have managed to hoard enough gold to build their underground bunkers, escape into space, do all stuff, they will eventually be caught. They're going to be caught by the angels, by the Lord, and stuff like that, and they're going to be brought into slavery, and they're going to be the first fruits of captivity. Right? And they're going to serve for 1,000 years, and they're going to be responsible for rebirthing their nation. Right? That's how we're going to have a consistent, flow of Edomite slaves. Right? And eventually, after 1,000 years, they shall all be gathered up and burned in a pit, as the scripture says, man. And then the seed line of Esau shall be put out forever. Right? This is Ezekiel 25:13. "Therefore, thus saith Yahweh Bashim Ashai Power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword." So you see, so this is all prophecy. This is the beginning of the destruction of the Edomites, right? We're starting to see it ramp up, I should say, right? Because these Edomites have already been getting destroyed with the drug epidemic, where they're getting all hooked and dying off in mass numbers off of this fentanyl. You're starting to see the low birth rates. You're seeing their men turn into women, the women turn into men. See, this is all the Lord's work to destroy the seed of Esau, man. Right? And now you're starting to see the angels bringing down these angels by the word of the Lord, by the commandment of the Lord, bringing down these physical, natural disasters upon them, man. So that way he could get them. So, so Kahala Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Kadash, the Wada Yahweh Bashim Shai, for bringing this judgment upon our enemies. Until the next time, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Kadash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.